What's up? Nothing. I'm unemployed. I'm the broke. By the way, this is just a random stream. I already done streamed today, but I just felt like doing something. So this is a random stream. I got 13 credits on front end mentor, so I'm gonna just start doing random shit. I have been searching for jobs. Every day I get a email saying, sorry, thank you for interviewing with us, but we don't want your ass. Unfortunately. But it's okay because the search continues. We got to keep going. Like today I was sad, but I was like, let me get up. Let me do some coding. Let me work on something. Got time to be sad about shit. Gotta work. Gotta do something. Create a new repository. 3-column preview card component. Ain't got time to be sad. Ain't got time to be sad. Ain't got time for the bullshit. Ain't got time for it, man. I ain't got time for it, brother. Okay, I'm broke too and trying to dream and document my journey every day. Aha, just ended. Back to the shackles. Back to the shackles. You gotta go to work? The shackles. The shackles? Oh, ooh. Oh, no. The job. It calls you. It says, come, Jacob. Well, not like that, but it says, come hither, Jacob. Come work and gain money so that you may purchase sustenance. So that you can buy the shit that you want. And then it just throws you in the street. This is not going to be a typical stream. I'm streaming because I was sad and I want to stream and work on things and talk to people. That is why I'm streaming. Good morning, Jay. Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing great, my friend. Mr. Anderson. Thank you, Furtech. I appreciate you. By the way, I know some of y'all come up in here because it's my typical stream, but as you can see, we're not doing any Pomodoro. I already streamed my study session, so now I'm just chilling, doing regular smegler HTML and shit. So it's gonna be a chill stream for me. I'm just here coding and bobbing out. Isn't it night there? When do you sleep then? I sleep all the time. I get a lot of sleep. Don't worry, man. I promise you, I'm getting a good amount of sleep. I promise you. Yeah, man, it's a chill stream. I'm still gonna do some stuff, but it's gonna be a chill stream. Where is it? Should be right here. Okay. Hi, what level are you at now, and what are you studying? Well, I am a level 99 front-end magician. I like to cast spells, and sometimes I dibble and dabble in the back end, if you know what I mean. Curious, are you actively applying? No, I am not actively applying. Real horror. That looks to be a very scary default picture. And I was right. It is a scary default picture. And yeah. Am I actively applying? No. I don't know if I have the skills to be employed right now, but I am still going to work towards being employed. I am working on, so I pay for front-end mentors, so now I'm just gonna do random projects so I can use all my credits. I was a sad boy today. I did my study, but I was sad, so I'm sad. So I was like, you know what? I'll just get on stream and I'll just work. And hopefully I won't be a sad boy anymore. Hopefully I'll be a happy boy. Happy. So if you want to see my earlier streams today, you'll see them. File, open, recent, no. Open file. It should start with a 3. There we go. There we go. Yes, sir. Because we ain't got time to be sad all the time. We gotta be happy. We gotta do happy things. You know what I mean? See, so we got some images. We got some designs. We got some style guides. We got a read me template. We got a read me. We got a preview, baby. We got that preview up in her, up in her. And why don't we go ahead and go to our desktop, and we will open Tailwind Starter. We'll just grab that, put that right there. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Actually, let's turn on some more. I'll listen to some gangster music. This is yeah, I'm feeling it right now. Let's listen to some Tory Lanez Chopped, Not Slide. Let's see. Oh yeah. Mo. Sorry, y'all can't hear this music. I Marquis. What is this, Slim K? This is gonna be some simple, easy stuff. Again, I'm doing this just so I can get all my credits. So how we want this? All right, let's see. So we got, looks like we should just do grid. 3 columns, 1 column. It's easy. Uh, this will just be the global container. Global container. And then say give that main. Oh, actually, no, that's improper. Running is so good for learning CSS accessibility. I used it a while back to learn. Yeah, man, it's pretty good. Doo -doo. Doo -doo. Doo -doo. Doo -doo. Doo -doo. Yeah, somebody does review it. Oh, I guess it was muted. What's up, Aka Yuki? How you doing? I hope you're doing great. Hello, everybody. I hope y'all are doing great. Hope everything's going great. What's up, Michu? Man, I wish I could play this music on stream. It's so good. It's so calm and peaceful and shit. Oh, how was it? How did it go, friend? My fonts aren't working. That's what's up. That's cool. Yeah, I'll do it in a bit. That's not the problem. Oh, oh, I see what the problem was. I think. Hmm. Hmm. Now it wants to work. Don't be Copilot. Mm. So it works. It switched it to Barlow, but for some reason, copy that. Like that. Instead of Barlow, we're gonna use big shoulders. Is something wrong with these fonts? Nah, don't tell me. Nah, don't help me. Do do do. Hmm. It's a caramel. Well, it's a day, but it's okay because hello, Matt. What a what? No, thank you. I learned a long time ago when I was way younger, I streamed and I learned that to not take songs from people. Yep. Learned that a long time ago. Learned my lesson. Learned my lesson. I definitely did. Learn my lesson. No, sir, I cannot look at your website. No, sir. No opinions from me, my good sir. No, sir. No, sir. I I remember the first when I was younger, I was a lot more sensitive. And I made the mistake of I made the mistake of I must tell y'all what happened. I was streaming on Twitch because I was like, I'm gonna be a streamer. I'm gonna be a streamer. And um I was looking at I was just playing the game and stuff, and then these guys were like, I was so green. I was so innocent. Like I was still in that stage of my life where I was like, everybody wants to do the right thing, right? Man, they were like, "Hey, Chris, listen to this song." So I listened to the song. It was the most racist. I didn't even know they made songs like that. It was the most racist song I could, and I got so many banana emojis and monkeys and all different types of stuff, and that broke my poor little innocent naive heart back then. And I decided I'm never gonna stream again. Oh, what was that? 2016? 2016? I was like, people are so mean. If I could go back to my younger self, I'd be like, "What were you expecting, dummy?" Oh man, it was funny. It was hilarious. Now that I look back at it, I'm like, man, if only I knew. I didn't know. It's a website for a story. I just wanted you to see the UI. Thanks though. Good luck with your project. Well, I don't want to see your project. I don't care. They got 100 different discords you can show that to. I guess you thought by typing that like I was gonna feel some type of way. I don't. I do not. I don't feel no type of way. I don't need luck. I work hard every day. See you in the funny papers. All right. Um, this is a different type of green. But yeah, man. Uh, But yeah, man. When I was younger, man, I made them. When I was younger, I kept making the mistake of, and I was talking to one of my friends in the military about this because we're both 34 now, and when we were younger, we keep bringing up this one thing. We had this idea that the world we unfairly projected our own spirit onto reality. And what I mean by that is that we were under the assumption that, and we believe this while we were in the military, not understanding the true nature of the military and its role in our country. We were under the delusion that people meant as well as we did spiritually, that we thought that people wanted to do as great as we did. We thought that people believed in fairness and camaraderie and just mutualism and all these amazing and lofty ideas. And slowly but surely we begin to be like, oh, some people just want to fuck shit up for no reason. Some people, they do not care. And that was a revelation. And think about it, we still talk, we at least once every 2 months we bring up that conversation about how we just had a complete art we were completely ignorant to the way the world actually operates. um we just didn't know. We had no idea. uh we had no idea, baby. We was like, everybody wants to do well, everybody loves each other, right, 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 right. Oh man. Chris. I'll tell y'all another story, something that I remember as a kid. So I grew up very sheltered, very sheltered. I didn't go to school dances. I didn't have a lot of friends. There was a lot of things that I just didn't do. It was me, my video games, my brothers, and I was just I was, for all intents and purposes, a true kid, right? A true kid, even into my teenage years, right? And hold on one second. I remember I remember back in the day, some of y'all, I don't know if some of y'all are my age, but we didn't, of course we didn't have Discord, right? We didn't even, I don't think it was Facebook Messenger a thing at that point. It was the early days. It was like World of Warcraft back in the day, like 2000, not like 2006. I don't know. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll just try to play World of Warcraft, and I got invited to a guild and I got invited to a Ventrilo, right? So we used to use this thing called Ventrilo and TeamSpeak. Imagine Discord, like in Ventrilo, imagine Discord, but completely and utterly stripped of everything that makes it beautiful, and just strip it down to voice channels and no chat. And there you have Ventrilo. And I think if we look at Ventrilo right here, Ventrilo. See, Ventrilo is still alive. Okay, so this is a weird take on it, but it didn't really look like that. It looked like, I what is with all these themes, man? I don't know, but Ventrilo was what we used, and so I remember I got into this Ventrilo server. It's like, yeah, I'm playing World of Warcraft, yeah. Man, I got into that server. They heard my black behind speak. They were like, are you black?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm black." Now, mind you, let me show you how sheltered I was as a kid. Now, mind you, I live in Texas, okay? Near Vidor, Texas. Type that into YouTube. Type Vidor, Texas into YouTube. That's in proximity to me. And I was like, I had never experienced, prejudice or racism because again, I was a sheltered child. And so, man, they said, "Are you black?" I said, "Yep." And they started saying the N word, all different types of N words. They kicked me from the ventrilo. They kicked me from the guild, and I was like, "Oh my god, what what's going on?" I had never experienced nothing like that in my life. I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Man, they really do stuff like that out here." So some people, hold up. So like, some people they be like, "Chris, you're mean. You're mean." Let me tell you something, man. And I want this for everybody that's listening to this. For the sake, I don't care if you even have to do it to me. Block me, okay? Time me out, mute me, ban me, kick me. If you are trying to protect your peace, do what is necessary to protect your peace, please. Because these motherfuckers will try you. I was very innocent back then. When I tell you I was a Pokemon card, Yu-Gi-Oh playing kid, Beyblade, anime. I was watching anime before it was cool, y'all. Back when it was hard to find anime and you had to either have some VHS or, back when just man, you know what I mean? Like back before we had all this infrastructure around anime. It's I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, I can just watch any anime I want. Younger me would have cried if I would have known that. I would have been like, you mean I can watch any anime I want? You mean I don't have to wait for Adult Swim to come on? You mean I don't have to wait for Toonami? I used to run home after school and do my homework in front of the TV and wait for Dragon Ball Z to come on. And now I could binge watch that shit. It's crazy. I could binge watch that. Man, I must sound so old right now, but y'all don't know, man. Shit is crazy. It's such a blessing. I could literally I would have never, I remember I know I'm reminiscing, but yeah, y'all are here. Let me get some water right quick. Oh, I got some water right here. Oh, I got some water right here. You said, yeah, that switch felt like a heaven. What you mean a switch? What you mean? Man, when I tell you like I remember I remember I remember running home. I remember when the Kingdom Hearts commercial used to come on, right? Used to come on Disney Channel. And I used to run just to hear what was her name, Hikaru Itada or whatever. Dun 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 dun. Please, oh baby, don't go. I would run and watch that commercial on the TV. Man, shit was so man, gaming was so different. I'm not saying it's bad now. I think it's beautiful now. But with access, with widespread access, you lose something there. You really do. There's something about video games that I remember the Unreal Tournament. I remember watching on G4 TV. Well, was it G4 TV or was it X Play? Whatever. I remember watching Unreal Tournament um, video, like little tourneys or whatever. I remember watching that and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. That shit was amazing. I remember when League of Legends looked like shit. Yeah, I remember Heroes of Nazareth or Hone or whatever. I used to play this game called Ragnarok Online. I remember Ultima and all these little weird games that they had out there. This was just a different time on the internet. And I'm not really the type of person that always reminisces on like how good, I hate when people always talk about how good it used to be back in the day or how good. So because I know every era has its good and its bad, right? Like a lot of people like to say, oh, back in the day was better, but let's be real, they had some fucked up shit going on back in the day. I can just change this to row and that should fix that. Okay. But what am I talking about? Oh yeah, I'm talking about whatever I want because it's a chill stream. Uh, let me turn off that. Yeah, let me turn that off. So anyway, like I was saying, man, yeah. But to be honest, you lived in a golden era. It really, and I have a friend who's way more into gaming than I am, and I guess sometimes I don't understand his sadness. Because sometimes I'm like, man, things are good, and he talks about gaming, but there's a general sadness that comes over him, and I realize I try not to think about it, but I really try not to think about how good we had it, because I don't want to be one of those people that's like back in my day. But man, let me see, flex column on large screens. It needs to be no, not that one. No, that's the global. This one. I just don't want to be one of them people that's just like, oh well, it was better in my day and blah 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 womp 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 womp. Like Jesus, shut up. Shut up. Shut your face, man. Shut your face. It's not doing it. Okay, so I need LG rounded. All right, there we go. That was interesting. What else? I remember watching the Cell games of Dragon Ball Z coming home. How old are you, Zeno? Are you my age? Are you younger? I remember. Well, back in my day. What else? What else was going on back then? Um, I will not say that the music in the early 2000s was better. Not it. Hold on. I think the fashion is better now than it was back then in the early 2000s. I don't know what people were doing in the early 2000s. Even though like people are kind of like taking 90s and early 2000s aesthetic and putting it, I think early 2000s style was kind of 90s and 80s was good, and I'm glad people are doing 90s and 80s stuff. Well, that's finished. It's not perfect. It's not what it should be, but by golly, it's gonna be what it's gonna be today. What else is going on? Oh yeah, why did I even start talking about this? I started talking about this because I'm gonna let y'all know something now. We gonna leave that like that. I'm gonna let y'all know something now. If there's one thing that I've been asking myself this for like the last 2 months, what is the one thing I've learned as I've gotten older? I'm gonna pass it on to the people that are watching. Be very violent about your peace. Be very violent about your peace of mind. Violently protect your peace of mind. And I don't mean violence as in go out and hurt people, but I mean if it's not, how do I even say this? I can only hope I do justice to what I'm about to say. Try to say it one more time. Be extremely aggressive. I'll say that. Be extremely aggressive when it comes to your peace. Because unfortunately, most people unintentionally will try to swoop in and ruin that. Not because they want to hurt you, but because they're just not peaceful people. Beautiful. I like when it snaps like that. That makes me feel good about myself. Bam, 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 shotgun. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Be violent about your peace. Also, and this is the one thing I wish I would have done earlier. Listen to your gut. My God. There's so much I strongly believe that there's so much information that the brain is processing at all times. And I know it's like the world always argues, well, it has to be rooted in some evidence-based practice, or you have to use a scientific method. Some shit does not make sense, but it's true. And some things are true that don't make fucking sense. Listen to your gut, brothers and sisters. No, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right, Zeno. You said, I feel like peace. I feel like peace of mind comes from you, and people can't affect it if you know how not to care. You are exactly right, but I'm saying what you're saying in a different way. What you're talking about is like what I'm talking about, but a piece of it. Because in order to not care, you kind of have to be a custodian of your thoughts, right? So you can't help, like, if some bullshit happens in front of you, you can't help but think sometimes. Like, right? You can't stop your thoughts, but you can begin to question why you feel certain way about thoughts. You can't help but have certain things going on in your mind. And so that's when we get into the subject of attachment to our thoughts. Some people strongly believe in the thoughts that they have. And so you have to become a custodian of your thoughts. You have to become, like, in program, you have to become the garbage collector of your thoughts. You have to be like, okay, well, what are we going to keep? What are we not going to keep? What does this mean? And so so what you're saying is right, but to get to what you're saying takes a lot of hard work. And people can't affect you if you know how not to care. And to learn what not to care about, to pick and choose effectively, takes experience. And it doesn't matter what age you are. What matters is your experience. What matters is what you've been through, regardless of age, regardless of socioeconomic status or race or gender, regardless of any of that. It solely depends on how many experience points, and were those experience points enough for you to actually listen and make a reasonable change. Was it impactful enough? Um, my God. So we got this finished. I did not get the fonts right, but you know what? It's going good, Reek. We just talking about random shit. This is a chill, random stream. I wasn't feeling too good today, so I was like, you know what? Let me get up and let me just do some coding and get my mind off of things. So that's where I'm at right now. That is where I'm at. It's going good. But I think the listen to your gut, the intuition thing is so very important, man. Listening to what's going on in here, and like sometimes you can't put things into words, but you can feel it. And for so long in my life, I didn't listen to that. I didn't listen to that feeling on the inside. And I don't know why I didn't listen. For some reason, I listened to other people instead of listening to this. I don't know why. I don't know why I put more value in their words than my own. Okay, let me go ahead and push this. Oh, and let me go ahead and do that. Let me go here. Damn, I deleted the wrong readme. What else should I talk about right now? Oh man. What else should I talk about? I don't know what else to talk about. What's up, Jacob? 2.2K. You know, I don't think I'm even watching the sub anymore for some reason, the subscribers. I just be like, oh, people be watching and stuff? Wow, that's crazy. What was it the other day? I don't know. At this point, this is my life. This is what I do. I stream and I try to learn web development. That's my life. I've dedicated myself to this. But new terminal. Where's the new terminal? Here we go. New terminal. We were talking about life stuff. I don't know what to talk about right now though. But we were just talking about life stuff. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Oh my god. Late night chilling like a villain in the villa with the women. With the DJ steady spinning. Got the chicken grilling. Gripping buns and I'm grinning. There's 10 people watching me right now. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Talk to me, baby. Tell me something. What's going on, man? You coding? What you coding, man? I've never ordered Atari, but I'm proud of you, my friend. You're doing great work. Keep doing the things that you're doing. We love you. Smoochums. Smoochums. See, what should I talk about? Y'all want me to talk about anything? It's more like an AI power software. That's cool. Y'all want me to talk about anything? Anything? Any questions? Any? I care a little bit. I care a little. I'm interested. I'm not an AI powered gentleman myself, but you know, he's like, I know you don't care, but wait, wait. Yeah, I am interested in philosophy. Is there something philosophical you would like to talk about, Sir Jacob? Let's see. So we got that. I feel like there's something on the screen I shouldn't be showing people, but whatever. It's too late. Um, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to front end mentor, submit my solution. We're gonna go to the live site, and then we are going to go to this right here. And we are going to do the solution title. Just read color. Have you heard of the egg theory? No, I have not. The meaning of existing as a human. The meaning of existing as a human is whatever you want it to mean. That's the scary part. People want to find the meaning of why we exist, but it could just be a fluke. It could be an accident. Well, an accident and a fluke are the same thing. It could mean something. It could not mean anything. Either way, regardless of if you want to know the meaning of it all, the meaning is what you give to it. The meaning is what you give to it. It's what you want it to be. That's the fun part. It's a big MMORPG. Jacob trying to start a war here. Nah. Jacob's a good guy. Jacob's a good guy. He's a good one. Jacob. But who knows the meaning of life? Matt, what's up, Matt? Do you believe in God? Let me tell you something about that. I think that it is extremely important that we have religious people. When you're homeless, it's the people who believe in God who want to give you shelter. It's the people who have that moral system. I'm not trying to say that you can't have a moral system if you're not religious or believe in something, believe in a higher power. But what I will say is that there's a lot of good that comes out of religion. It's just like there's a lot of bad, right? But if you are hungry, those religious people will feed you. If you don't have a roof over your head, those people will believe in spiritually guiding you to a place where you have something. So, regardless of whether or not you believe or not, which I don't give a damn, if you are in need, there are some amazing people who are religious who will help your ass out in a time of need. You hungry? I promise you can go to a church and get fed. You don't have shelter? I promise you they will find a way to put a roof over your head. There's a way. Okay? But so I believe in the utility of believing in God, if that makes any sense. I believe in the utility of it. I think it is extremely important. If you go to any 12-step meeting, right? So mind y'all, before I wanted to do all this coding stuff, I was 5 classes away from finishing my master's degree. I was going to be a counselor, right? If you go into any group therapy, Like it be it Alcoholics Anonymous. There's stuff for people who are survivors of SA. There's things for people who binge eat. There's people who are survivors of narcissistic abuse. The first in those 12-step meetings, the first thing you have they say is that you need to believe in some type of higher power, whether it's God or otherwise. Because when you're trying to move forward in your life, you're going to need something bigger. When you're trying to listen, there was 3 million documents that came out recently. Those men and women could not get over their own cravings even though they knew it was wrong. They That's the type of stuff that people go through. There's people that crave so bad and want to change so bad, they need to believe outside of themselves to change. And there's some people that just don't give a damn. So issues. Yeah, that is true. It should be contained by landmark. Blah 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 blah. But I do think. Oh, this is way nicer than mine. Oh, why does mine look like that right here? Oh, no, 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 no. That's not how that's supposed to look. I'm upset about that. I should. Uh, what else? Yes, there's a lot of utility in believing in a God. I don't care. I don't care if those people who believe in God think I'm right or wrong. I don't care if people think that people are wrong for believing in God or wrong for not believing in God. I don't care about all that, but I am concerned with the result of the belief and the disbelief. If the result of the belief and the result of the disbelief ends in a betterment, the betterment of people's lives, I'm all for that. If it helps, I'm all for that. But if it begins to damage and traumatize and creates all different types of fuckery, that's when we have a problem. And that's usually a person. That's is usually that's an individual, and then an individual who's influencing a group type issue. So believe what you want to believe. Like last time I checked, a belief in God, whether you believe or not believe, you can still plant a tree, right? That's some good you can do. And whether you believe or not believe, you can still go out there and hurt people. Just depends on how you channel that energy. So that's how I feel about it. Um, what are we doing now? My challenges. Oh my god, there's so much I could do. There's so many different projects. I want to do a whole bunch of projects before. But I think the most important thing I don't know. Any other questions? This might be a cool project. But I think if you try to link God's existence with how people who believe in him act, they could mislead you. That is true. They could mislead. And that's where we get the bad shit. And just like the people who don't believe, they can definitely mislead you as well. Hold on. Let me read that again. But I think if you try to link God's existence with how people who believe in him act, yeah, I've heard that. Now that I think about it, I've heard that argument before. I got another question. What do you think God's purpose of creating us was? Um, you know, I think of it like this. Remember, there was a time where people thought that the world was flat, and then there were people who said it was round, and they tried to kill them. And then everybody began to accept the fact that the world was round. And then once they all agreed that the world was round, then they were like, well, the earth is definitely the center of existence. And then people were like, well, I don't know about that. I think we revolve around the sun. And then people tried to kill those people. And then remember when people were like, you know what? I think there's something outside of the planets and this solar system. They thought that the solar system was the center of existence. And then somebody was like, yeah, nah, I don't think that's the case. And they told those people that they were pieces of shit. And then um we found out about the Milky Way, and some people thought, well, maybe the Milky Way is the center. And then Hubble was like, yeah, nah, I think there's other galaxies out there. And then they all debated that and blah, 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 blah. The point that I'm trying to make is that every generation thinks that they're special. I don't know. And every time we think that we're special, we think we're the center of it all, we find out that we're not. And so I would not be surprised if the reason for us being here was extremely offhanded and casual. You know, like the guy who found out about penicillin. It was an accident. It just might just be, the result of the result. This might just be the result of creating all of this. We just might be the after effects. So moral of the story is nine times I strongly believe that there probably wasn't a specific reason. And that is unfortunate, I guess, for some people. I don't believe that there was a specific reason. I don't. And honestly, we might have not been created with any intent in mind. That's the sad part. That's the part that people probably would not want to take in. Is the fact that we might just be like, there's a lot of people who are born by accident, right? Their parents meet, they have sex, they have a kid. Oops, whoops. Now they have to deal with it. What I'm saying is that we might be that child that is just the result of another action. We might just be like what happens when you throw a whole bunch of seeds into a field on a rainy day and wait months later and you see the crops grow. Hello, is it possible for you to share the link to the Tailwind CSS course you're taking either here or in the description? Hold on one second. Because I remember you asked for that earlier. Project. Hold on, no. Hold on, where is it? Is this? No. It's not this one. Hold on. Here it is. No. Don't be depressed. This is a grand opportunity for you to think about what you want your life to be and what you want to do with the amazing experience of it actually existing, or not even just existing, but I mean, there's not many things in the universe that are actually aware of its own existence. I mean, the sun, I mean, for all we know, it can't think of all. So, this is called Tailwind CSS from Scratch, Learn by Building Projects by Brad Traversy. Traversy. So if I click here, will it bring me to Brad's page? And you shouldn't be depressed about that. That is not something to be depressed about. Brad has some amazing tutorials on YouTube, by the way. What was your name? Dang. Oh, Hamid, Hamid. Oh, by the way, if y'all like the stream, make sure y'all subscribe. If y'all like the stream, you know, this is not my typical stream. Usually I have the Pomodoro counter up, but like I said, this stream is just because I was feeling a little sad and I wanted to stream, man. Let's see what's going on in Discord. No problem, Amit. I will say this, it is interesting when people are extremely, and nothing is wrong with being curious about the existence of God, but I find it interesting that it's weird that we want to think about things like that, but then we have issues doing our homework and stuff, like procrastinating. Yeah, I guess it's how you take it and look at it. Yeah. What is the next thing we can do? I was going in order. I need to use all these credits up. So I did this one, 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 this one. I guess I could do this one. Down, 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 down. Download starter. Download Figma file. See, I got 12 credits. I need to do 12 of these before in the next 3 days. That's some crazy shit. I want to get my money's worth. Oh, oh my god. I did that one a few weeks ago. The colors are wonky. Yeah, I believe you. Sometimes I feel like they get the wrong color sometimes. What is this called? The single price grid component? The single price grid component. Hopefully I can get the fonts working this time because I messed up the fonts, y'all, on the other project. These fonts are incorrect. And then I need to learn. You see how they have this white space? I don't know how to make this work in Tailwind. See, it goes all the way off screen. It shouldn't even do that. That's depressing. Like, why is it doing that? It wasn't doing that at first. Well, no, it is. You know what? Never mind. Just move on with my life. Move on with my life. Move on with my life. Okay, so it's called the single price grid component. Do 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 do. If an omnipotent creature looked at you and said, "I created you, but without intent," would you be happy or sad? Personally, I don't think I'd care because at least I can't I can breathe and eat yummy food. If an omnipotent creature, yeah, you wanna see an omnipotent creature kind of say something like that, do 28 grams of psilocybin, and I promise you, the void will speak back to you. I would not feel any different type of way because the reality is that no matter what that entity says to me, I would still have to go back to my life and pay bills. Yes, friend. 2020 and 20 no, was that, yeah, 2021 and 2022 was a crazy time for me. Pan science. I grew pan science in my bedroom. Woo, that was a time. Mother Earth just keeps on giving and giving. 28 grams. Some people, when I tell people that, some people understand what that actually means. Okay? Like when just even thinking about it brings me back to when I did it. I started at 8, went to 12, went to 16, ended at 28. No, you can't OD. But I'll say this: the people who have bad trips are the ones who are doing it just for fun. Um, the shoebox is the one where you have the I had like a big tub that I made. English, I you know what? Somebody there was a guy who English is hard. I agree with you. As a native English speaker myself, when people begin to put the words together, and I'm like, the only way you would know what these words are is if somebody told you. It's not intuitive. It's not an intuitive language at all. It's so strange. I used a shoebox. I forgot who taught me. Yeah. I did this. Man, that was a crazy time, Jacob. That was a crazy time. The fact that it's become so popular now is crazy. North Spore is where I bought some of the stuff from. I didn't have a grow kit. I had a syringe, the cocoa core or whatever. Man, it was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, man, pan cyans. See, I was scared to do stuff like that. So what I did was, I'm gonna show you. Uh, wow, they changed their site up. I bought one of these, like the injecting grow bags. Injected because they already come sterilized and everything. They do their own thing, and that way, I've never had one that failed. I'll say this: I've never had one that failed. I never want to go through that. So I use one of these and inject in the port or whatever. Let it sit there, let it colonize it, then break that thing down, and then yeah, man. Yeah, I'll be back. Give me like 5 minutes. Nature's calling me. Nature's calling my name. Be right back. Whoa, Nelly. Okay. All right. I am back. Ooh. Hello. You can't OD on shrooms. Um, there's people who have been hospitalized because they. Well, I'm not gonna make an assumption. Yeah, it's best not to make an assumption about that type of thing. Oh, man, I was just watching some of Hamza's videos. I remember when I think I was watching him when he first started doing stuff. I remember that. I remember him saying he was always say Adonis. Adonis. Adonis programs. Adonis doesn't get sad, he programs. Adonis. When I did those shrooms, I felt like God came to me and handed me a sword with no hilt, with no handle. And he said, giving, and the sword had an edge on both sides. And he said to me that giving is giving is powerful. But again, as you give, giving is a double-edged sword. Why did you choose web development and not another software engineering path? I don't know. This is the one that was calling me, so I did it. This has a inner. I don't really know how to answer that, man. I'm just hoping I can get a job. Hopefully, I can do projects. Well, I really hope I can get hired. Truly. I'm trying to make it to where they can see my skills. They can see my commitment. And they'll be like, we got to get this guy before somebody else. I took a huge rip and found myself staring at a giant tiger that was starving. It was the most scared moment of my life, but then halfway through I realized I'm going to You're going to what? I had an ego death. I looked in the mirror. I remember that. I was in Houston. I looked in the mirror. I didn't know you weren't supposed to look in the mirror, and I did. Yes, sir. Live every day to the fullest. Yeah, I feel like it's a marathon, not a sprint. If I really want to be about it, I got to take the time out. And ego death, that is very, I don't know if I even have, I don't even know if I can explain it right now. Imagine seeing yourself as not a person, a place, a thing. Imagine your idea of what a person, place, or thing, or what a human being, or all of the associations that you have with everything just begins to melt. And you just see yourself. There's no connotation. There's no meaning. There's no indoctrination. There's no connection. All there is just you. No definition. You just see yourself for what you actually are. Not even yourself. I think this might be a good place to stop the stream. I think I'm getting kind of tired. I should do this more often when I'm feeling sad. I should get on stream. Either way, if y'all like this stream, please like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all watching me and stuff. Oop. And having a good time here with me and stuff. Make sure y'all take care of yourselves, Jacob. Make sure you take care of yourself. Every stream won't be like this. Y'all are actually the rare few that have ever seen me go live and kind of be raw and myself, a lot more unfiltered. So hopefully we can have a lot more streams like this where we just chilling. Alrighty. Yes, sir. That's right, Jacob. That is 100% correct. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later today. I'll be streaming later today. All right, bye. Bye. Bye, bye.